I would put the Green Rainbow Party as part of the prophetic tradition.
As a candidate, you're out there in the real world talking to conventional ways of thinking, and I find every time I return to kind of the Green Rainbow community, it's so nourishing to feel the insights of this community.
Michael Manley, the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, once said, "Economics is the foundation of our system, but politics are how decisions are made. Unless we take part, nothing is going to change." And that's what participatory government is all about, which is why I'm running for town meeting in Precinct 6. Thank you.
Think global, act local. And I really figured several years back, practice what you preach here. Thought one. Thought two is that, like Arthur, I'm very much of a grassroots guy. I gave a talk at the Thursday Night Club in Brookline 3 months ago, dreaming of designing and developing a decent democracy, because we haven't, as part of the Amesian anthology of annotated alliterations. I'd give you many more. But my point is that times change. Our country is much bigger than it was when the Constitution was written, and we need to fiddle with it a little bit. And so I'm keen on a healthy democracy.
That was 1960. 8 years later, Martin Luther King came along and said, "Beware the three evils. Beware the three evils." What are the three evils? Militarism, economic exploitation, and racism. You know, and again saying that while the country had the capacity for great good, the reality is that the potential for harm, given the issues of racism, economic exploitation and materialism, and racism, the potential for negative forces inside the country was so great that his perspective was that if we didn't eliminate those three evils, essentially, what good would integration mean?
For example, it's not just the auditor's responsibility and authority to look at how the money is being spent, but how well it's being spent. In particular, you know, are we, every tax that we pay, every fee that we pay, every tax that we choose not to collect from this corporation, but we do collect from our small businesses, every loan that we underwrite is an investment in ourselves, in our children, in our parents, in each other. And what kind of return are we getting on that investment? Are we actually getting good schools, good social services, good libraries? Are we getting the things that we would want to support each other with as a community? Or are they going to special favors, deals, giveaways to lobbyists, insiders, the corporations with the wealth? I think you know the answer.
In 1977, I joined the United States Army. I was in the Army for 6 years, and I got out and learned a trade, a construction trade. Got out for 5 years and went back in the United States Army in 1987. In 1991, they had this little thing called Desert Storm. It was a little thing because it ended so fast. And that's really when we should have resolved all the issues that we have today. I was a combat medic, and I seen what death and destruction does to people. You don't just patch them up and send them home and say good luck. I seen a bumper sticker that said it perfectly. It says, "Honor the dead, heal the wounded, and stop the war." You want to not just talk through a bunch of numbers at you. Want to save a lot of money? Stop the war right now. You'll save all that money that's going to stay, and it'll stay right where it's supposed to be. Holding the corporations and the lobbyists accountable to the people. Democracy is a word that David Cobb gave me a perfect definition of it. Democracy is demo means, the Greek word demo means the people, ocracy to rule. It's not that way now. The people do not rule. We vote one way, they vote another way.
I mean, we could talk at great length about sort of nutritional stuff, but the bottom line is that in moving to this globalized food system, it's not only screwed farmers and corporatized the food system, it has really created a public health epidemic, which includes not only, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, stroke, but also the degenerative diseases, in particular Alzheimer's and dementia, are also turned out to be very much related to this whole cluster of diseases that's driven not only by this toxic food system, but also by the built environment. The good news is that we can fix those health problems at the same time that we create jobs. Richard Heinberg, who some of you may know of, he's sort of the big proponent of relocalization and of sustainable local green economies and jobs. He says we need 40 million farmers in the United States, 40 million people raising food to have a really sustainable, healthy local food system. So that's a lot of food jobs. We know that there's an infinite number of clean energy jobs that can be created if we were to transition our economy and start building the weatherized homes, government buildings, schools, etc. That this very insidious kind of bribing of government used to be underground, it used to be hidden from view, now it's just out in the open because it's become acceptable that that's how government does business. Really exciting is how much the broader world out there shares our vision. It really does feel like it's a breakthrough moment, and the kinds of things that Chuck is talking about, our need to sort of connect with our own roots, our own spirituality, our broader sense of community and healing. It's so true that this is really a tipping moment for political choices and the political options that were being offered. So we're kind of bringing that into the conversation, as we have been for many years, but now people are sort of ready for us. We've kind of been ahead of the curve, and it's just very exciting.